So let us take one good example which might explain that better, what's happening here, or what is supposed to happen. So if we have the note speed, I have this airy touch here from MIDI. It's just sending one single MIDI note. Yeah, that's it. And this is going into the upright piano. And now I have the note speed to map device here, and I want to use a pitch. So if I'm playing faster strokes, the pitch is going up. Playing slower strokes, the pitch is going down. So this is a pitch, MIDI pitch device, MIDI effect. Yeah, so this is going up and down, and obviously we have a sampler device here, so we don't have notes all over the place. So if I'm transposing this, if I'm pitching this too low, I'm not getting any note here. Okay, so but first let's set this up. So if I open and click on the editor show toggle here, I get the whole monitoring section here. So let's map by clicking map and then clicking on pitch. And now the pitch device is mapped because I had it mapped beforehand. I need to redo it. So let's do it again. So just click on map and then click on the parameter you want to map. If the parameter was mapped just before that, you need to map a different parameter and then come back. It's just a little thing with the map button here. Okay, cool. So I'm now playing a note, and you can see the tempo if I'm playing a little bit faster. Yeah, so the tempo of my note, the note speed I called it, is changing the pitch amount. At the moment how it's set up now, it's faster notes, higher pitch, faster notes, slower notes, the pitch goes down. And as I showed here before, the problem is if we are too low, we wouldn't get a note at all, because the upright piano sampler device doesn't have notes in minus 70 semitones. So we need the range, we need to adjust the range here. So the range of which values should be going out. So if I'm now putting on the graph here, put it like this, you can see when I'm playing slower, the pitch is not moving. Is not moving too far. So I still have a few notes down here which are not so this is kind of like, maybe you're getting a picture here, like I can scale the values of going out. And now if I'm playing, I'm getting notes all the time. Okay, so obviously this is not sounding that nice. Let us just put a scale device here and let's put a note length. And then now we're getting quite some music here already. Okay, so let's use this pitch mapped example here to explain the whole concept of the device. So first of all, you need to set up a time the notes should react to. So if the notes are played like with a distance within that time, they will be used for the parameter change calculation. If not, they won't be used. So the speed of the MIDI notes you play will control the map parameters only if they're set in this time. Okay, so you have two ways of setting this time. You can use note values here, which are relative to the master BPM, or you can use time here, so seconds or milliseconds, or yeah. So if I set this up to, let's put it down to 1 second. So if I'm playing MIDI notes with the distance under 1 second, they will be used. And if I'm playing MIDI notes which have a bigger distance in between, do you say distance? I don't know. But if I play a MIDI note and then the next MIDI note comes after 1 second, they won't be used for the calculation. So nothing is changing because they are not within 1 second. What I set up here, so you can set this with your computer keyboard as well. 1 second, so just to make this really accurate. Okay, so obviously if you're playing notes, let's say you play notes with just like this, a bit faster, and then play faster notes. There's a big jump, obviously, of the scaling from the slower notes to the faster notes, and this results in quite a big jump of pitch here. And you might want to smooth this. So you can do this via the smoothing section here, which will smooth the jumps here. So let's set this up to around 8. So quite a lot of smoothing happening here now. Going down first, so I just have to hit in between 1 second. And now when I'm going faster, yeah, the jumping up to the higher value, to the higher pitch value, is smooth now. So you get like going up step by step and not jumping straight to a higher note if you're playing really fast just after you played quite slow. The same works for going down here as well. So this is musically really important, because if you like sometimes want to go up high really quick, but you want to move down to the low pitch values, in this case, you might want to go down quicker. So you can set this up separately here. Okay, so sometimes you might have values which need to go a bit higher. The pitch device or the pitching here is not a really good example to show this, but let's set this up like this, and I can gain the values which are being made up or down. So for example, if I'm playing in this tempo, but I want this tempo to produce higher values already, I could gain those. Yeah, so you can add gain or you can subtract gain. Sure, that's not the right word, but you get the picture. So this becomes handy later on if you have like going up for certain values, if you're controlling some audio effects, for example, and you want to have faster notes going to the very high end here. If your gain is set up too high, let me mute the piano here for now, but so just that you can see, if you want to go up, and then if you're going too far up, I set the gain to 1, you're out of range, so you gain it too high. So you get this message here, out of range, reduce gain. So if I set it a bit further down, this message will disappear. Okay. Okay, so for the editing here of the graph or of the curve, you could you have a few presets here, a menu with a few presets. You can reset everything to 2 points again, so you get a linear curve here. Let's set this back, and maybe, and that's really interesting now, maybe you want to have more points and change stuff here. So what we can actually do here is not only going higher when we go faster, we could go high up to this point, then go down again, and then go up again. So musically, this would sound like this now. Something is happening here. Where is my sound? There we are. Yeah, so I have 2 going ups now. So depending on the time I'm playing here, it's not linear going up. It's like going up when I'm playing faster notes, and then when I'm getting faster, the pitch is going down again. So you have quite a few editing possibilities here. You can get really musical. If you press Alt as well, you can change the curve between 2 points here as well. Jip, jip, jip. And if you don't like what you just did, you can press reset and you're going back here. Okay. Yeah. And you're back to normal or to 0 again. Cool. Okay, you get a little monitor here as well. So it's estimated what kind of notes relative to the master BPM you're playing at the moment. So if I switch this off, you can see I'm kind of playing quarter notes, or quarter notes would be the nearest I'm currently playing relative to this master BPM. 8 notes, 16th notes, 8 note triplets. Yeah, so this is not like 100% accurate. This is just like the nearest note values, just to give you some sort of orientation here. You get a monitor out, so between 0 and 100, what kind of values are you sending out at the moment? So obviously those values, if you map it to some MIDI button or with the CC device, because of the note speed, 2cc is included in here as well. It's the same concept here, but it's creating MIDI control messages here, continuous control messages. So they are obviously scaled from 0 to 127. You have a scaling here of 0 to 100. So depending on what you're mapping, the scaling obviously just gives you an orientation here of what you're sending out. Okay, so this is the whole editing section here. There are a few more things which would make sense to show you with a different example than pitch. So let's go over to do a different example. Okay, so let's set up an mapping with an audio effect, because there are some nice features in here which make sense for audio effects. So I took a delay here, and I want to have the dry and wet being controlled by my note speed. So first let me introduce you this audio effect. So 0 going up. Yeah, so you can hear what the audio effect is doing here. So let's map this dry and wet button from the delay effect. Just click on map, it's lighting up, select dry and wet, and now it's mapped already. Yeah, really nice. I put in some smoothing here. I could set the effect to go higher, maybe even. And maybe on slower notes, I want it to be more towards the value 0. So what I would do is add a third point here, and set this down here. So if I'm playing really slow now, and even move this a little bit further. You can see if I'm playing in this tempo, dry and wet stays on 0, going faster. Okay, so maybe I want now, after a hit, I want the delay to be closed again. So I applied a fade function here, so we could set up a fade back to the beginning. So just to show you, fade, I set it up really high, 5 seconds. So you can see if I'm going up here after the last hit or after every hit, a fade is being now applied to go back to the beginning of the graph and is applying all those values I set up here. So 5 seconds are now being calculated from the end. So if I have a value in the middle, it's only taking the half of it. So it makes sense to explain this if you set this to from point. So the last point now fading back to the beginning of the graph will take 5 seconds. So quite a long distance here, so 5 seconds seems quite long. And even if you're playing slower, you can see the graph or the fade is moving even slower, because now the point, the last hit, the last value you created, fading to the end will take 5 seconds. If you set this to from the end, then it will always calculate 5 seconds for the whole graph to move, and the last point will be relative. So a much faster fade here. If it's on a low value, yeah, so this is now taking 5 seconds from the end and then relative from the point. So you can create faster fades here, so to speak. Okay, so there is one more function here, the delay, which, to be honest, makes more sense for the note speed to MIDI control change signal as well. So if you're creating a parameter change, you want this to be applied before the note is coming in. So to speak, if you're changing the dry and wet here on this parameter, you want this to be changed first and then the note coming in. So the device will do this, but sometimes, especially when you're sending stuff to external MIDI hardware or to different softwares, this might be too close, the two MIDI messages you're sending out here, so you can delay the note message if you want to, just to make sure that first the MIDI control change is going out to change the parameter, and then the MIDI note is coming and is being already, that the parameter change is already being applied to the MIDI note, which is coming in now. Cool. So have fun with those devices. I'm always interested to see what people are using it for. So if you put out any videos, please tag me and maybe set a link to the products here. That would be highly appreciated. Cool. Take care.